Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to this update. Let's see the severe weather for U.S. and Canada because there's still some turbulent weather in the next few days in parts of the northwestern U.S. and Canada. So let's see here. Today they just had out that slight risk in parts of Montana, in like northwestern Montana, and that marginal risk, including parts of Montana, western North Dakota, South Dakota, parts of Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Kansas, even Oklahoma, and Nebraska, southern Arizona, northern Arizona, parts of Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. So in Colorado, so be aware there, especially the slight risk. Let's see, tornado threat is less than 2%, but be aware, you never know. The damaging wind threat is 15% in Montana and 5% in the marginal risk areas. Hail threat is a little bit smaller, 5% in Arizona and parts of Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, the Dakotas, Kansas, and Nebraska, and even into Utah and Idaho, parts of Wyoming and Colorado. So stay safe there. Let's see, strong to severe storms with severe wind gusts and some hail are possible in parts of Montana, Intermountain West, Central Rockies, and southeastern Arizona, and extreme southwestern New Mexico and parts of the high plains. So be safe there. Let's see what the model shows for today. So there's those showers and storms in parts of Oregon there because of that system. In Northern California, some more rain, and then those storms will really start there in the afternoon. Some stronger ones in northeastern Colorado, into Nebraska, more parts of Arizona, New Mexico there, especially like those areas southeastern Arizona and some areas there. Into Utah, show some strong storms in eastern Wyoming and western Wyoming and Utah. In Colorado, western Colorado too, shows, and the bigger storms in northwestern Montana there shows some more quantity of storms with damaging winds and everything there. In Washington, many some showers, a storm or two in Idaho. Then those storms the farm in Montana go towards Canada later. So let's see. It also shows some storms in Florida and the Bahamas, still especially in the Bahamas, showing a lot of storms there, and more in Florida and everything this afternoon. So yeah, stay safe there, and this is mainly it. Let's see. So for the next few days of severe weather, there's a marginal risk for Saturday, tomorrow, parts of Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Nebraska, southwestern South Dakota, southeastern Wyoming, and parts of northwestern Kansas, and a general risk of storms in the Gulf and the southeast and some areas there, so stay safe. Marginally severe storms will possible on Saturday across parts of the Four Corners region, eastward across central high plains, so stay safe there. But the main thing is Monday into Tuesday. So now for Monday, no, for Sunday on day 3, so this is Sunday, not Monday. So let's see, there's already a slight risk in parts of Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota, and a marginal risk all the way from New Mexico to Minnesota. So be aware for Sunday, day 3, it shows a general risk of thunderstorms in a big area there across the US, probabilistic 5-15%, and severe weather risk expected in the northern plains area and in more isolated manner southwestern to the southern Rockies on Sunday. So be aware, Sunday through Monday, because Monday, day 4, it shows already a slight risk. That would be that 15% would be a slight risk for Monday, for day 4. So be aware there across Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, and the UP of Michigan. There'll be more severe weather there for Monday, day 4. So be aware there. So let's see, models continue to suggest potential for severe weather across parts of the upper Mississippi Valley on day 4 Monday, as a mid-level shortwave trough is hunted north eastward across this region by the persistent central U.S. ridge. Timing of advance of these features differs between the GFS and the Euro, casting some uncertainty, but enough agreement exists to maintain a 15% area. So yeah, so stay safe there for Monday, and we'll keep monitoring the updates on the next few days. So let's see. Now the fire threat is very big, it's still critical there across Nevada, especially Utah and southern Idaho, and a large area of dry thunderstorm potential, isolated dry thunderstorms through Idaho, southeastern Washington and Oregon, and kind of western Montana. So stay safe there. And the elevated fire threat in parts of northeastern California, most of Nevada, western Utah, and Idaho and Oregon. So stay safe there. So let's see. At the afternoon, heat mixing will result in sustained surface winds of 20 to 25 miles per hour, while RH values drop into the teens, resulting in elevated to critical fire weather conditions for this region. In addition, forcing of ascent association with a formant trough will allow for thunderstorms to develop across the Pacific Northwest, with mixed and wet and dry storms expected. And given dry receptive fuels across the region, the area denoting isolated dry thunderstorm potential has been maintained. So stay safe there. And for tomorrow, still critical, especially in Wyoming there. A critical area in Wyoming tomorrow for Saturday, and elevated from Nevada to South Dakota, and still some isolated dry thunderstorms possible through Nevada, southeastern Oregon, California, and Idaho. So stay safe there. So let's see, a mid-level trough of the Pacific Northwest will shift east and allow for a belt of enhanced mid-level flow to overspread parts of the eastern Great Basin, northern Rockies. Afternoon heating mixing will allow for sustained winds 20 to 25 miles per hour across the region, with relative humidity values falling into the upper teens and low 20s Fahrenheit. Let's see, fuels across the region of the Great Basin appear marginally receptive, and elevated highlights have been maintained for this region, whereas fuels of parts of Wyoming appear more receptive where critical fire delineation has been added. In addition, potential for isolated dry thunderstorms has been introduced for the northern Great Basin, associated with forcing from the advancing trough. Fuels in this region maintain receptive for large fire spread and PUA values that projected remain below 0 to 0.75 inches. So just so you know the basics and everything, so stay safe there, not to cause any fires, and stay away from fires. So now let's see. This weather map for today suggests rain and storms in the green, and even some mixed precipitation in some mountains there, and the critical fire. Tomorrow, still some mixed precipitations in those higher mountains, critical fire, rain, and thunderstorms. And day 3, severe weather and mixed precipitation and more rain and storms. So, and then there's the snow threat. There's actually minimum snow threat parts of northern California today. So this is the 24-hour probability of snow accumulating in the peak of northern California there. So be aware. And let's see, it even shows here a very small probability in that area there. So then tomorrow doesn't really show anything. Day 3, none too, but you never know. So excessive rainfall shows a marginal in Florida and Georgia today, a marginal in Arizona and New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. Day 2, another marginal in the southwest there. Day 3, another marginal for the storms there, still might cause flash flooding. Day 4, another marginal in the southwest there, so be careful. And day 5, still a marginal there in the southwest. So stay safe there from storms with flash flood potential. The precipitation for Friday today shows a lot in Northern California and parts of Oregon, into Washington, especially Washington and British Columbia shows a lot there from that system. Shows a lot in parts of Colorado, Utah, Arizona, kind of New Mexico, Texas, and a lot in Florida and near the southeast there. More parts of the plains. And then for Saturday, tomorrow, shows more there in parts of the Midwest and in the Southwest there, in the North, and in parts of the Northwest, especially in the South. Shows a lot near Florida. Day 3, Sunday, I think, shows more in the Southwest from the storms, more in the North and in the South there. So day 4 for Monday shows, let's see, so day 3, yes, Sunday to Monday. So this must be like Monday to Tuesday. So day 4 now shows more through the northern U.S. and central Canada, more in the southwest and parts of the south. Day 5 from Wednesday to Thursday, or shows more in the north, parts of the south there. Let's see, day 6 from Thursday to Friday shows more in the north and Canada, and still some in the south. Day 7 from Friday to Saturday, more across the central US, more storms there, Canada and parts of the south. Day 1 through 7 shows a lot in the northwest there, and in the southwest, in areas of Florida especially, and in the north. So stay safe there. Let's see. The heat risk is still extreme today in Texas and New Mexico and Major, so be careful there. Moderate in Montana and Wyoming and Florida and the southwest, so stay safe from the heat. Saturday still extreme in Texas, New Mexico and Oklahoma, major through the southern plains, moderate in the north. Sunday more major heat risk in the Midwest and the plains. Monday, still some major and extreme heat risk in Iowa, and some major heat risk across other areas of the Midwest, moderate in the Southwest, and some major in Florida. Next Tuesday, more major and even extreme heat risk in parts of the Midwest still, and moderate in other areas. Wednesday shows more extreme heat risk in parts of the Mid-South, and some major and moderate heat risk. Next Thursday, still some major heat risk on the Southeast, and moderate on the Southwest. So stay safe. Let's see, the maximum temperatures today still shows very high, close to 109 there. Let's see, hundreds in the southwest, lower in the west there. Shows some 90s on the north, 90s on the southeast. Let's see, for Saturday still shows some hundreds there in the plains. Let's see, 90s in other areas, some 80s and 90s in the mid-south and midwest. In the southeast, some 100s on the southwest. So let's see, and the minimum temperatures for tomorrow even shown to the 30s and 50 Fahrenheit there in the Rockies in Oregon especially. So be aware. Let's see. Day 3 shows some hundreds in Kansas, Texas, Oklahoma, some 90s on the southeast, Midwest, and to the southwest, 100s. Day 4, Monday, shows more 90s and even 100 throughout much of the mid-south, Midwest, many areas there. Still 100s and 90s in California and Arizona. And day 5, more 100s on the southwest and the west, more 90s and 100s scattered throughout the central areas and the east. Day 6 for Wednesday shows more 100s in the southeast, in the south, and more 90s there. In the east too, and more 100s on the southwest. And day 7 shows more 100s on the southwest, even some 90s upper north, and more 90s throughout the mid-south, the southeast, and other areas. So be aware. And the maximum wind gusts for Friday today, valid until 12 p.m. on Saturday, shows stronger winds in Utah into Nevada, in Oregon, kind of Oregon, more in Washington and Idaho into Montana. So be aware, those reds, almost yellow, like 50 to 60 miles per hour gusts. So be aware, some occasional strong gusts possible. Southern Arizona, southeastern Arizona too, from the storms and everything. And be aware, some of those storms might have even stronger winds. So stay safe there. Let's see. So these alerts now have some high wind warnings in southwestern Montana. Be aware there. Blowing dust advisory in parts of Washington. Wind advisories throughout Washington, Idaho, and Montana. Red flag warnings throughout Utah, Nevada, Oregon, and Idaho. Flood watch in Northern California. Heat warnings in Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. Some advisories. Some small craft and other advisories there. And so some hydraulic and marine stuff in Alaska, and some tropical storm warnings in the open seas near Hawaii, and tropical storm watch in southern Hawaii there. So we'll talk about Hawaii in the first tropical update. So stay tuned for that, and stay safe there. Some air quality advisories too. So let's see. Now in Canada, it shows some moderate chance for strong to severe storms in Alberta, so southern Alberta especially, some 90 to 100 to 120 kilometer per hour wind gusts possible, some hail and heavy rain, so be careful there, especially in southern Alberta today there. And then let's see. And yes, that's today. There's still no outlook for tomorrow. So Northwestern Territories show some storms possible, some wind and rain. In Ontario, some minor storms possible there, some wind, rain, and isolated hail. In Atlantic Canada, shows some minor storms possible too, parts of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Newfoundland. And British Columbia, they say no thunders. Wait, let's see day 2 here. So Friday shows some moderate to severe storms possible in southern British Columbia after 0Z. So be aware there's some minor storms there too. And Quebec shows some minor storms in eastern Quebec there. And let's see, tomorrow in western Quebec, more storms. So let's see. And the alerts, this will update along the day, especially later today. They might have some severe thunderstorm watches in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but they have now air quality advisories for Saskatchewan and Manitoba because of the smoke there. Let's see, in Ontario, some special air quality statements, even some fog advisories this morning in British Columbia, but that will end soon. Another areas of special air quality statements there, British Columbia, because of the fire smoke. Air quality advisory in Northwestern Territory, some areas there. Yukon, more special air quality advisories for the wildfire smoke. Still, the storm surge warnings there, likely until Sunday in northern Yukon. And let's see. So stay safe there, and they might have some more alerts later. And the Cape this afternoon shows more thunderstorm energy in parts of the plains, but the main severe weather will be in the north. It shows some in Montana, but in northwestern Montana, where those storms are expected to be, doesn't show much. It shows more in Alberta there, Saskatchewan, more Cape in North and South Dakota. Then let's see, especially like Saturday, show some huge amounts of Cape there, but most will be unused because the severe storms will be further north, but there might be some stuff tomorrow. Then Sunday shows a lot of Cape there in Minnesota, North Dakota, very close to where those storms will be there in Minnesota, North Dakota, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and those areas. Shows a lot of Cape, and into Monday there, Wisconsin, Minnesota, right where those storms will be there. So be careful there, Sunday into Monday. So yeah, and there's also, let's talk about some heavy rain threat in parts of Canada. So in British Columbia there's the heavy rain threat in southern British Columbia. More than 50 millimeters in some areas, might be some isolated flood. Let's in the next 5 days shows more than 100 millimeters from some other systems later, western British Columbia, more in Alberta, through central Canada because of the storms, and not areas, southern Alaska especially. So be aware that British Columbia and everything. And the temperatures are still very hot today, southern Saskatchewan and Alberta especially, into the 30s, the low 30s. In Quebec and Ontario, still some high 20s in some areas, but nothing crazy. Some higher 20s in Saskatchewan too. And later might kind of continue kind of like this, but as those systems pass through, the heat might move further east into Manitoba and Ontario, and later kind of dissipate as some colder air might come from the north. So yeah, stay safe. This is mainly it. And let's see here. Just an update that they recently put, they extended the dry thunderstorm potential for today, Friday, into parts of Montana, further into Montana and Idaho, and Oregon there. So be aware. And now, stay safe, bye.